Chapter 4. I rose to my feet. The meeting was over. There was no point in wasting my time with a woman whose time was past. I was very angry with Esani and showed it on my face, though I kept quiet out of respect for the old woman. It was my entire fault, coming to an outdated, old woman to seek for advice. Esani belonged to that generation of my grandmother who believed that a man is the lord of his household, therefore he is always right. She belonged to that old, deceived generation of women who accepted the evil orientation designed by men that women should be docile, submissive, silent, weak, self-effacing, and stupid. She belonged to that generation who, as Gladys said, were deceived to believe that a woman makes or mars her home, therefore blamed the woman if her marriage failed. They ignorantly believed that it was the woman's fault who chose to mar rather than make her home. What an arrant nonsense! Esani beckoned on me to sit down, which I reluctantly did, just for my grandmother's sake, who also had a lot of respect for her. However, when I look at you, I see a wonderful woman. My friend, Yuloma did a wonderful job in bringing you up. But I see confusion in your heart. Your heart is at crossroads. You don't know whether to walk in the narrow or the wide road. You don't know whether to drink the old or new wine. Whichever one you choose has its consequences. But if you can take control of your own mind, you will find peace of mind. Then you will be able to make the choice that will make you a wonderful gift to the world. Words, I thought. A moment ago, she made me angry by calling me a wicked woman. Now she had made me happy by calling me a wonderful woman. I recollected the words of my grandmother, who, like Esani, was respected for her use of words. The difference between a happy home and a troubled one is located in the words used at the various homes. Words are tools for building or destruction. The remarkable thing is that words are free. They cost nothing. I thought now of words used in my troubled home: witch, devil, idiot, fool, flirt, womanizer, drunkard, crazy, lazy, dirty, proud, selfish, bully, arrogant, snake, pretender, suspect, slavery, absent, careless, rights and fair, injustice, exploitation, wicked, heartless, ingratitude, hate, slap, beat, separate, divorce, incompatible, mistake, regret, hate, dangerous, afraid, war, shameless, among others. I shuddered. These were words that would destroy a home. But I still believe that it was all the fault of my husband. Again, you must be careful of the words you listen to, Esani said, as if reading my thoughts. But more importantly, the words you speak. I cannot read because I did not go to school. But if I were able to read, my favorite book would have been the Bible. So I listen attentively when those who can read it talk about it. Do you know my favorite words from the Bible? No, Grandma, you have not told me. And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. Why, Grandma? Why is it your favorite scripture? Because it has been real in my own experience. Ezinmoko once said to my troubled home, "Let there be peace," and there was peace. I loved the smile I saw on her face. I smiled too. However, the words that come out of our mouth are not as important as the words that are in our heart. It is only when the words from our mouth are truly the words in our heart that we see results. Tell me about your experience, I said. I will do so. But I want you to know that given the right orientation and motivation, every human being is capable of loving and peaceful relationship. I listened. Your husband is not as wicked as you think. You have said many unkind things about the man who loved you and married you. There were many girls he could have married, but he married you. You were his best. I studied the old woman, her old, wrinkled face, her peering brown eyes that were still sharp in spite of being the oldest woman in my village. I wondered at the strength of her character and her mind. Then I remembered what my grandmother once said: if your mind is dead, everything around you dies with it. But if your mind is alive and active, everything around you remains alive, even if you live for 1,000 years. I did not understand what she meant then. Even now, it was yet difficult for me to fully understand what she meant. My thoughts returned to Esani. I was beginning to feel comfortable in her presence. As a child, I had always loved to be in her presence because she had always spoken kind words to me. She had just said something that touched a spot in my heart. She had said, "You were his best." But that statement was in the past tense. "Okay, Grandma," I said. "But I am no longer his best. I am now his worst. Our marriage is about to end in divorce. Why then did you make yourself his worst? Why did you stop being his best?" The problem with some women is that the moment they get married, they stop doing those things, which made their husbands consider them good enough in the first place. "You see, it is all your fault," I protested, raising my voice. "Grandma, you always best, but George doesn't notice. He won't buy dresses for me. When I buy one myself, he does not seem to notice. He does not comment whether the dress is beautiful or not. No matter how hard I tried to prepare a delicious meal, he would eat grudgingly without appreciating my efforts. No matter how much effort I put into making myself attractive, he never seems to notice. But wherever I go, I am besieged by a horde of male admirers who express how beautiful I am, how great an actress I am, how gorgeous I always dress, and how watching my movies makes their day. My own husband never appreciates me, never utters a word about my looks and my acting prowess. At home, I always feel like a failure, and nobody. Birds sing to appreciate the beauty of nature. Insects thrill to appreciate the life in them. Trees shake to recognize the presence of the wind. But my husband is as immovable as a rock. Tell me, Grandma, which woman in the world can cope with a man like that? Doesn't he know that a woman is happy when her husband appreciates the food she cooks and says it is delicious even when it is not? But George will always complain about too much salt or pepper. The food is half done or overcooked. The other day, he even complained of too much meat in his soup. George does not know that a woman is happy when her husband looks at her and calls her the most beautiful woman in the world, even when both of them know that it is not true. He does not know that a woman is happy when her husband appreciates her sense of style. He is completely ignorant of the fact that the secret longing of a woman is to be passionately admired by her husband. Is he not a failure? Yet when he sees me in the company of those who appreciate what I do and admire me for who I am, he becomes jealous and calls me a flirt. He does not know how to gladden the heart of a woman, only how to break it. I agree that he is a successful businessman, but when it comes to marriage, he is a total failure. I know he is deliberately wicked. The other day, a friend of mine visited us. George looked at her and said, "Your hairstyle is beautiful. I like it." Something he has never said to me since we married. He appreciates other women and tells me stories of wonderful women he knows, but sees nothing good in his own wife. George is deliberately wicked. The old woman gave me an all-knowing smile. "She is a woman," I said in my mind. "She certainly understands what I am talking about. She will not blame me anymore." Stay tuned for the next chapter of The Wisest Woman in the World at Akseki.